You've had a fight with your partner. They said hurtful things to you. You likely did too, because things happen. You've even said, I'm sorry, but something still feels off, right? You can sense it. And that feeling is far worse than the fight itself. Am I right? I call that the dreaded distance gap. And for most couples, they hang out there for days or they get stuck there for weeks. So in today's conversation, I'm going to be showing you why saying I'm sorry alone is not enough, and the 4-part process that I share with my clients that helps them close that gap fast. By the end of today's video, I'll show you how to make your partner feel seen, understood, safe, and valued after a fight. Here's the truth for so many of us. We did not grow up seeing this modeled at home. And in some cases, we probably have seen much worse behaviors. But the good news is it's never too late to learn, and we can start right now. If you're new to me, hi, my name is JahSun. I'm a relationship guide and the creator of the Relationship Repair Room Show, a space dedicated to helping you prevent damage in your relationships and give you real repair tools for when things go sideways. And if you've been here before, welcome back to another conversation. I'm so excited that you're here. Thanks so much for subscribing. It really does mean the world to me. With me being in the conflict resolution space for well over a decade and helping couples work through their stick points, something's become apparently clear. And that is, we were never taught how to apologize properly. What we learned were 2 words: I'm sorry. You would say it, they would say it, done. But here's the problem. Saying I'm sorry addresses fault. It says I was wrong. And while that's important, it doesn't address the real problem. The real problem is the hurt that was caused during the fight. So let's be real. Having a fight with someone that you love, it does hurt. And it causes all these invisible marks that you can't see on the relationship, on your partner, and you. Maybe you said something harsh, they shut down, or your eyes did that rolly thing, or they brought up old stuff. Perhaps feelings got dismissed, which never feels good. And tones can get sharp sometimes, right? And even if you didn't mean to cause injury, you did. They did. Everyone did. That's what happens in conflict. And it makes great sense as to why people like to avoid it at all costs. But guess what? Can't. See, your partner just doesn't need to know that you were wrong. They need to know that you understand that what you did or said affected them in a negative way. They need to know what's going to change and that you're actually thinking about their experience and not just checking off a box here. And that's why I'm sorry alone falls short. It's one step, but it's not all of the steps. And we are going to cover those now. So let me share the 4-part framework that actually closes that dreadful distance gap after a fight, because that's what we're fighting up against here. It's not the conflict itself. It's the distance that comes after, right? That awkward silence that we feel that leaves us just going through the motions like everything's fine when we know it's not. That's what keeps couples stuck. And here's how to close it. So here's part 1. You must name what you did. There's a lot of power in being able to name what you did. It fosters accountability, which every relationship needs. But it also signals something very important. Because you're aware of what you did and you can name it specifically, your partner starts to believe there's a real chance that you won't repeat it again. Think about it. If someone says, I'm sorry for what I did, what does that tell you? Right. They don't even know what they're apologizing for, which means they're probably going to do it again. But if they say something like, I'm sorry I dismissed your feelings the other day when you were trying to talk to me, now you know they saw it, that they get it, and that makes you believe they actually can change it. Let's use a real world example that I see a lot when I'm working with my couples. Let's say you and your partner have a fight over household responsibilities. Ever been there? And when they brought it up, you got defensive, did that eye rolling thing we talked about earlier, and immediately came back with, I do plenty around here. If you really wanted to fix it, you wouldn't say, I'm sorry for how I acted. Instead, you would want to say, I'm sorry that I got defensive and rolled my eyes when you brought up the dishes. I shut down and I stopped listening. Do you see the difference? You named it, and now your partner knows you understand exactly what you did. Part 2, say why it hurt them. This is called applying empathy to the situation. And most people stop at step 1. But this part is critical because you're not just acknowledging what you did, you're acknowledging the impact of your behaviors by using empathy. Here's why this works. When you can articulate how you've affected your partner with your behavior, because you may not get the actual emotion right. They feel understood, or that you're genuinely trying to understand. So not just hearing them, understanding them. And that's what helps close the gap. Think about it. Your partner just doesn't want to know that you're sorry because you yelled. They want to know that you understand that when you yelled, they felt attacked. So they shut down because they didn't feel safe to keep talking. And that's the real damage. So let's say you snapped at your partner in front of friends. You already named what you did. I'm sorry that I snapped at you in front of everyone at dinner. Now just add on why that hurt them. I know that may have embarrassed you, and I imagine that you probably feel like I don't respect you, especially in front of people that you care about. We're not just saying what we did, we're saying how it may have landed for that other person, and now they feel seen. Part 3 is when you commit to change. Now, this is what makes this whole process real, because now we're not just talking, right? Our words and our actions now need to match. So you have a plan in place to make sure that it doesn't happen again. When you commit to making a specific behavior change, this is what allows your partner to feel safe, because they're not wondering if it's going to keep happening, or they're waiting for the next shoe to drop. If you show up and say, I'll try to do better, I need you to know that means nothing. It's vague. It gives them zero confidence in your ability to pull it off. But when you say exactly what you're going to do differently, now they can believe you. So the suggestion is to always map out a plan of what you're going to do differently. So in this case, let's say you have a conversation with your partner and multiple times through that dialogue, you interrupted them. When it's time to make that right, you know to name it, you know to talk about the impact of that behavior. And now this is what laying out a plan would look like. The next time that we're talking and I feel the urge to interrupt you, I'm going to pause, I'm going to take a deep breath, I'm going to ask myself, if what I want to say is more important than allowing you to finish and feel heard. Now that's concrete, and your partner knows exactly what to expect moving forward. And the last part of this framework, part 4, is to ask what they need. This final part separates the rookies from the pros. It determines whether the conflict loop that's been created stays open or closes. We want to close a loop and get off of this ride. When you ask what they need, you're saying, I don't assume to know how to make this right. So I'm asking you, and I'm trusting you to tell me. Man, that's powerful. That's powerful because it makes people feel loved. When you're not trying to prescribe a solution for somebody else, that makes them feel that you care, that you're open to learning. And there's nothing better to close a conflict loop than genuine care. And they're probably really not ready to talk it through, but they still need some form of assurance. But if you don't ask, then you're just guessing. And guessing wrong can actually make things worse. Now, back to that pro tip. When you ask the question, what do you need from me right now? I need you to listen to the answer. Don't argue, don't defend, just simply do what they asked. And don't miss this step. If you do parts 1, 2, and 3, but miss this step, all those other 3 do not matter. Nail this one, and you're off to the races. All right, so it's time to recap what we learned today. The 4-part framework that is going to close the dreadful distance gap. The next time you have a fight and it's time to apologize, we are not going to say, I'm sorry. We're going to use these 4 parts instead. Number 1, name what you did. Number 2, say why it hurt them. 3, commit to the change. And 4, ask what they need. Now that apology gets an A+. When you do all 4 parts, here's what changes. The distance doesn't last for days or weeks. These steps will help you feel closer again faster. Even post-fight, you can start to rebuild trust. And if we mean what we say, there's a high chance that that argument won't happen the same way again. All right, so tell me in the comments, which one of the 4 steps haven't you already heard about? And which one do you intend to apply the next time you have a fight with your partner? And if I could leave you with an important perspective, this whole process isn't just about what you give. My hope for you is that this becomes your new standard of how you receive as well. You also deserve an apology that hits all 4 of these parts too. So don't settle for less. Remember, you repeat what you don't repair. And now you've been empowered to deliver an apology that gets you an A+. That's the end of today's conversation. I hope that you found it useful. If you have, you're going to love this next video, how to calm down after a fight. I'll see you there.